Hello, sports fans. I'm Kevin McCormick, and welcome to this episode of Lake Orion Sports Update. We're bringing you the latest news in Lake Orion sports, including updates from boys soccer, volleyball, football, and a whole lot more. On September 27, the Lake Orion boys soccer team faced off against the Troy Colts, winning a hard-fought battle 2-1. The victory continued the Dragons' winning streak and improved their record to 7-3. The Lake Orion High School boys soccer team continued their winning ways on the 29th, beating the Dearborn Pioneers 1-0. With the victory, Lake Orion pushed their winning streak to a season-best 4 games. On October 4th, the Dragons traveled to Oxford for a boys soccer match against the Wildcats. The game ended in a tie at 1 goal apiece. The next game for the Dragons boys soccer squad was a home game against Imlay City. Lake Orion played a strong match with an aggressive offensive attack. The tension was high as both teams remained scoreless for most of the game until the minute 21 mark when Lake Orion scored a goal from a sideline kick and a header. The Dragons kept Imlay City scoreless for the remainder of the match and took the win. Lake Orion was at this game and filmed in its entirety. So to watch this and other Lake Orion sports during the fall season, tune in to Comcast Channel 10 or AT&T UVerse Channel 99 Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. You can also visit oriontv.org for our upcoming program schedule and the link to our YouTube page. Last Saturday, the Lake Orion girls swimming team competed along with 25 other schools in the Oakland County Championship meet. The first event of the meet was the 200-yard medley relay. In first place was Farmington Hills Mercy with a time of 1 minute 47.61 seconds. The team consisted of Katie Minich, Tierney Janowski, Elenia Skellett, and Lindsay Case. The Dragons were able to place in a very respectable 5th place out of 30 relay teams with a time of 1 minute 49.27 seconds. The Dragon team consisted of Sarah Hennings, Hannah Quinn, Zoe Quinn, and Clara Bossi. Other standout performances from the Dragons during the day included the 50-yard freestyle, where Dragons Clara Bossi and Zoe Quinn finished 4th and 5th respectively out of 40 participants with times of 23.74 and 24.25 seconds. In the 100-yard butterfly, Dragon swimmer Sarah Hennings placed second with a time of 57.03 seconds, trailing White Lake Lakeland's Emma Hazel by only 19/100ths of a second, who finished with a time of 56.84 seconds. In the 100-yard freestyle, the Dragons had their best result of the day as Clara Bossi finished in first place out of 40 swimmers with a time of 51.24 seconds. Zoe Quinn placed 7th in the event with a time of 54.35. In the last event of the day, the Dragons were able to place 3rd out of 27 in the 400-yard freestyle relay with a time of 3 minutes 35.62 seconds. The relay team was made up of Zoe Quinn, Ileana Ritt, Sarah Hennings, and Clara Bossi. Finishing in first place with a time of 3 minutes 31.22 seconds was Bloomfield Hills Marion. Their relay team included Sophia Schott, Gabby Granada, Caitlin Swantick, and Lauren Biglin. Overall, the Dragon swimmers finished 7th in the meet behind Farmington Hills Mercy in first, Bloomfield Hills Marion in second, and White Lake Lakeland in third. The Dragons cross-country runners are at the midway point of the 2016 season. Let's check in with Ian Locke to see how the men and women's teams performed over the last 2 weeks. Ian?
Thanks, Kevin. It is indeed the halfway point of the season, and the Dragons were on the road to Stony Creek Metro Park to compete in their second OAA Red Jamboree on Tuesday, September 25th. This race would be a good test to see how the men's and women's teams stacked up against league and regional foes. Under overcast skies and windy conditions, the men took to the fast, winding course on a mission to move up the OAA Red standings. The Dragons were again led by senior Mike Jarvis, who finished 3rd overall. Adams' Matt Schramm again blistered the field in 15:44 to take top honors. Schramm currently holds the 3rd best time in the entire state, and showed that he's a contender to take the state crown in November. Ryan Mulcahy would finish 13th overall, with Jack Everts and Matt Junkin finishing 18th and 19th, respectively. These solid performances would earn the Dragons an overall third-place team finish with 67 points, just one shy of second-place Seaholm. Clarkston rules the day with 42 total points in the win. The Lady Dragons were eager to test the fast course, hoping to repeat their performance from the Anchor Bay Invitational. The Dragons rolled out as expected with Allison Sherman leading the 10-runner varsity squad. Sherman would earn a 9th-place finish with Emily Leopold and Marissa O'Leary finishing a tight 17th and 20th place respectively. The real battle for the team placing was back in the pack though, where 4th, 5th, and 6th runners were chasing down Rochester Adams. Lindsay Thalen would do her part, finishing 29th with a career best 20-23. Abby Locke and Olivia Ames would finish 36th and 44th to close out the scoring for the Dragons. Lake Orion would tie Adams in points, but would lose the tiebreaker to finish 5th overall. Seaholm continues to be the class of the league, if not the state, with 6 runners finishing in the top 25. The Dragons would next head back over to Kensington Metro Park for the Oakland County Championship meet on Saturday, October 8th. Both Dragon squads are familiar with the 5K course, having raced here back on September 10th. Under clear, cool skies, the Dragons lined up alongside 38 other county teams, running to earn the title of county champion. The Dragon Boys varsity team rolled off the line with 7 runners. Familiar faces were at the front of the pack, with Mike Jarvis again leading the Dragons, finishing 3rd overall. Fellow senior Jack Everts finished 24th overall to earn a spot on the podium. Freshman Andrew Nolan put in an impressive run to finish 52nd overall and 3rd for the Dragons. As a team, the Dragons finished 6th overall with 205 points. Novi would win the team competition, earning 73 points, having 4 runners in the top 15. Notre Dame's Brendan Frazier and Adams' Matt Schramm would individually finish 1st and 2nd overall. The Lady Dragons varsity squad showed again that youth combined with experience was a strong combination. Starting their youngest 7 of the season with 4 sophomores and 3 freshmen, Coach McDonald challenged these Lady Dragons to prove they belong among the elite of Oakland County. Allison Sherman again led the Dragons with a solid 19th place finish, with Emily Leopold earning 25th and a place alongside Sherman on the medal podium. The remaining Dragons to score points were Marissa O'Leary at 42nd, Abby Locke at 56, and Lindsay Thalen coming in at 69th place to earn the Dragons a respectable 6th place team finish with 198 points. 3-time defending state champion Birmingham Seaholm again dominated the field, finishing 1st with 64 points, behind the efforts of county champion Audrey Ladd. Clarkston continues to move up the leaderboards this season, taking 2nd, with Milford taking 3rd. Oxford was 7th, Rochester 8th, with Adams finishing 10th. The Dragons are charging towards the regional meet on October 29th at Anchor Bay, hoping to earn that coveted bid to the MHSAA State Championships at MIS on November 5th. ONTV cameras will be on hand to bring you the final results as they happen. For the Sports Update, I'm Ian Locke.
Thanks, Ian. On September 27th, the Lake Orion volleyball team went on the road to take on arch rival Clarkston during a recent away game. The match ended up being the toughest of the season, with 4 of the 5 sets being decided by only 2 points. The Dragons faced a 5-point deficit in the deciding 5th set, but digging deep, the team rallied to score 7 straight points, winning the set 15-13, giving them the victory 3 sets to 2. Danielle Sargent led the way for the Dragons with a season-high 18 kills during the match. On September 29th, the Lady Dragons team hosted a home game against our other rival team, the Oxford Wildcats. Lake Orion got off to a shaky start, losing the first set 25-18, but the Dragons were able to steady the ship and took the next 3 sets comfortably, 25-12, 25-20, and 25-13. Leah Kaluger continued her outstanding senior season with a team-high 12 kills during the match. With the victory, the Dragons improved to 17-6 on the year. The Lady Dragons spent Saturday, October 1st in Mount Morris at the Mount Morris Volleyball Tournament. In the first game of play, the Dragons tied Goodrich 1-1. After that, the Dragons were able to go on a run, winning their next 3 matches without dropping a set. During the streak, Lake Orion defeated Brown City, Mount Morris, and Fenton. The Dragons met North Branch in the final. After splitting the first 2 sets, Lake Orion came up a little short in the final set, losing 15-8, finishing second in the tournament. Lake Orion hosted a home game against the Birmingham Seaholm Maples on October 4th. The Dragons won the first set by a comfortable margin, holding Seaholm to only 3 points while scoring 25. The Maples continued to fight and won the second set by 5 points. The Dragons regained control in the third set, winning 25-21. It came down to the fourth set, and Lake Orion was able to clinch the victory, winning by 11 points and taking the match 3-1. Last Friday, the Dragons invaded the Lakers' court to face off against West Bloomfield. Lake Orion started off the first set strong, taking the set 25-1. Maintaining their momentum through the next 2 sets, the Dragons fended off the Lakers 25-13 and 25-19, winning the match 3-0. The Lake Orion varsity football team traveled to Troy, Athens for an away game on September 30th. The weather was miserable, contributing to the Dragons' 14-point lead slipping away to end up tied at the first half, 14-all. Despite the worsening weather conditions in the second half, Dragon junior Parker Edmonds blocked a punt that was recovered in the end zone for a touchdown that put the Dragons up by 2 scores early in the third quarter. Senior running back Chris Wilson ran for 98 yards, most of that coming from a 63-yard touchdown gallop. Junior Dylan Frank, now known as Frank the Dragon, used his power and speed to score 2 touchdowns in the second half, including a punishing 46-yard run in the third quarter. The Dragons scored 5 consecutive touchdowns in the second half to win the game 47-14. The win improved Lake Orion's record to 4-2 and 4-1 in the OAA Red and put them in a 4-way tie for first place and in the driver's seat with 3 games to go before the playoffs. The Dragons were again on the road October 7th, this time traveling to Birmingham Seaholm to play the Maples. Neither team was able to put up points during the first quarter of action, but Lake Orion senior Max Hornifer scored 2 touchdowns in the second quarter to give the Dragons a slim lead. Seaholm added points in the second quarter, also making the score 14-7 at halftime. The third quarter was a battle, and the Maples were able to score and tie the game at 14 at the end of regulation. Seaholm had a chance to win the game with a field goal, but the Dragons forced overtime with an incredible blocked kick. The Dragons started the overtime period strong with a great touchdown run up the middle by Dylan Frank, also known as Frank the Dragon, on the first play of their overtime series. With the score now 21-14, the Dragons went on defense to stop the Maples from scoring. Seaholm fumbled the ball on the second play of their series, and it was recovered by Lake Orion, sealing a dramatic victory for the Dragons. The final score of the game was 21-14 Lake Orion. Lake Orion's next game will be the homecoming game against the Clarkston Wolves on October 14th. ONTV will be there. We'll also be at the Powder Puff game on October 13th, which is always a competitive battle. Be sure to check OnTV.org for future air times. Here are the current standings for the OAA Red Division. You can see that Lake Orion's in front with a 4-run record, 5-2 overall, but we're in the driver's seat ahead of Clarkston and Southfield, and West Bloomfield coming in at 4th place. So thanks for watching this episode of Lake Orion Sports Update and for watching all of our fall sports coverage. We'll see you next time.